Arrest the autocrat, not the judge. I'm Jessica Denson, and this is Lights On. As you know, I always tell you Lights On is more than a show. It is a movement. If you are not already subscribed, please subscribe to the Jessica Denson YouTube channel. I am so pleased and thrilled today to be joined by my friend who has been on Lights On many times, but it has been way too long, Lev Parnas. Now, Lev Parnas has done time, real time in prison for the crimes of Donald J. Trump. He knows better than anyone why this man must be removed from office now. And I was so excited when I got in touch with Lev to find out that he is on the same page as I am, as we are here on Lights On, with efforts to pressure lawmakers to back impeachment and removal of this convict from office now. Now, he's got a very specific effort that I'm so excited to tell you about today. He, of course, knows more than most about this blackmail that is going on between Donald Trump and Ukraine right now. He was at the heart, of course, of the first impeachment of Donald J. Trump when he tried to extort Zelensky the first time. And it's just kind of like a deja vu that we're living through all over again. I really liked a piece that I found in The Guardian this week. It's called "Ukraine Has Exposed Trump's True Identity as a Vandal, an Autocrat, a Gangster, and a Fool." Jonathan Friedland writes, "To see the true face of Donald Trump, look no further than Ukraine. Laid bare in his handling of that issue are not only his myriad weaknesses, but also the danger he poses to his own country and the wider world, to say nothing of the battered people of Ukraine itself. Don't be fooled by the mild, vaguely theatrical rebuke Trump issued to Vladimir Putin on Thursday after Moscow unleashed a deadly wave of drone strikes on Kyiv, killing 12 and injuring dozens. Vladimir, stop. Pay attention instead to the fact that in the nearly 100 days since Trump took office, the U.S. has essentially switched sides in the battle between Putin's Russia and democratic Ukraine, backing the invaders against the invaded." And then, of course, today we have this appalling but not shocking news that the FBI, led by this crackpot Kash Patel, who it's absolutely unthinkable that this man is at the head of our FBI, ordered the arrest of a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge on Friday, Judge Hannah Dugan. She was accused in a now deleted post from Kash Patel of, quote, intentionally misdirecting federal agents away from someone that ICE was pursuing. And this woman, Judge Hannah Dugan, a judge in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, has now been arrested. This is the inverse authoritarian universe we're living in right now, where Donald Trump and much of his administration are committing criminal acts and should be arrested for their behavior and immediately removed from office. And instead, they are arresting federal judges, or they're arresting, not in this case, a federal judge, but a state judge. Unthinkable. We cannot think for 1 second that waiting to take the most aggressive but righteous and justified constitutional action to remove this man is not right. You know, I've read a quote from one of the lawmakers on the Democratic side, and you guys know on Lights On that I am extremely hard on those on our side, because I understand that it is up to them to set the narrative and carry the right actions, to be bold and fearless in the right actions. If we're going to get to the Republicans, for God's sakes, we have to start with our own side being right. And Tammy Baldwin said today, quote, "Make no mistake, we do not have kings in this country, and we are a democracy governed by laws that everyone must abide by." Okay, thank you. While details of this exact case remain minimal, this action fits into the deeply concerning pattern of this president's lawless behavior and undermining courts and Congress checks on power. Damn right, which is exactly why every one of these lawmakers, including you, Ms. Baldwin, including every single Democratic and Republican member of the House and Senate, should be vocally, and when it comes to the time of a vote, which I hope will be very soon, and we've been reporting a lot on Lights On as to the progress of those impeachment articles, should absolutely be backing impeachment now. What the hell are you waiting for? What are you doing if you can make statements like this and not be on board for every constitutional means to remove this man from power? So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my friend, also the author of Shadow Diplomacy, Lev Parnas' Wild Ride from Brooklyn to Donald Trump's Inner Circle. He is also the host of the now wildly successful Substack called Lev Remembers. Lev, welcome back to Lights On.
Jessica, I mean, you're better than Rachel Maddow. I mean, I love it. You brought it up, and Rachel's a good friend of mine. So no, you're incredible, and I thank you for having me. What you've built, it really became more than just you started off with building a community, talking about your own story, about what actually happened to you, and trying to speak truth to power, like we all did back in the day, and then when after the elections and after we saw a lot of things happen, you could have walked away like a lot of people did and hid, but you stood up, and I'm very proud to say you're my friend. And I see a lot of the things you're doing. I mean, the stuff you did, I think on March 14th or April 4th, I think it was March 14th, was it, when you
Yes,
guys
March
did that
14th.
March 14th? It was incredible. I think one of my partners and one of my shows, Malcolm Nance, was there in Washington, D.C. He said it was unfortunately, it didn't get the media attention it should, but that's one of the things we're going to talk about later today, about that this a movement has to be united. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody has a lot of great ideas and a lot of great things, but at the end of the day, for us to be able to beat Donald Trump, to be able to get him, to get our democracy back, to be able to get normality back, is you could only do it in numbers. I mean, you can't have 1,000 different great groups out there, great little movements. It has to be one powerful voice, and that's what we're putting together. Some of the things we're doing on Substack, actually, it's incredible. I want to let your viewers know, and you should all come. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe definitely. Lev Parnas, I think, or Lev Remembers. I'm not technically
Lev
inclined,
Remembers. We have the
but
link
Lev
in the
Remembers.
description.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
great. You guys definitely want to go. So we have a show that's #1 right now on Substack, and it's actually, we're going to be taking it live. It's me, Michael Cohen, and Malcolm Nance. Three of the people that probably knows Donald Trump most, very, very close. Jessica knows. There's very few people on all of these platforms like Jessica, like ourselves, that really know Donald Trump. They've been around him, been in the same room with him, could tell you how he thinks, and not just him, but people around him. Mostly everybody else is these pundits, these reporters. They're, yeah, great, I hear you, but they're giving you opinions. Everybody has an opinion. You know what I'm saying to you? We're giving
Yeah.
you facts, and that's why it's important to follow and watch the information, because this movement is growing. So what we've started, and this is the idea we have, Jessica, I want to share with your audience. I want you
Yeah.
guys to jump on board. I want this to become even, let's join forces and make this even bigger. So right now, and you started off in your opening statement, you said something very important about, and we'll get to Ukraine, we'll get to a lot of things. I have a lot of stuff for your audience,
Yeah.
inside information that they're going to love, but you said something important about, as far as, oh, I lost my thought for a second. Oh,
Impeachment and
and
pressuring Republicans. Yes. Yeah.
exactly. Impeachment and pressuring Republicans,
Yes.
because a lot of people are talking about, see, right now, the Democratic Party, there is no Democratic leadership. Excuse me.
Oh God.
There is some really good people in there, like Jamie Raskin out there. He's out there fighting. You got the Jamie Crockett. You got fighters out there, but you don't have no leadership. You don't have people corralling them to be able. And hopefully, we'll see some of that come out shortly. But right now, we don't have that. They left us here to fight for ourselves, so we have to do it ourselves. And what we need to do right now is, Donald Trump is helping us. What he's doing is, right now, there's a lot of people, and not a lot, but I'll say there's more than 5, 6, maybe even closer to 10 Republican congressmen and congresswomen in there right now that are on the verge of flipping, that would love to, but they're scared, for either because of their safety, because of the conditions we live in. Some of these people are off the walls, especially he pardoned all of these January 6ers, but also because they don't want to get primaried, because you got Elon Musk running around throwing money left and right, which is another thing. There's cracks in the system there also, Jessica, we could talk about a little later. But I'm saying to you, so with all of that said, we had an idea, and this is what we're going to do is, Thursday, on the show Unleashed, we're going to put together, and I'll speak to you later on also, a list of these 5, 6 heart that we think we could flip. And we're going to all together, hundreds of thousands. We're going to try to do millions, but can you imagine the power of all of those emails, phone
Yeah.
calls, flooding, seeing them in front of their office, banners flying? making sure. And if we could get them to flip, then what you're saying is correct, because then we don't have to wait till the midterms. We could start
We
impeachment
can.
procedures now. We could start because right now he just destroyed two levels of our, I mean, basically our levels of authority. He just has the executive power. All he does is
Yeah.
sign, 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 sign. So I think that's a great idea for us to unite and stuff like this and
Yes.
help on each other, because all of these causes are good, and you don't know which one will take the viral effect. Is it going to be this one or that one? But one of them will, and that's when we'll see the numbers. Because like Malcolm always said, in Ukraine, the color revolution, to be able to go out there and really make a difference. It's great, 1 million people here, 500,000 people there. We need 10 million. We need
Yeah.
12 million. We need
Yeah, we
20.
do.
Can you imagine 5 million people in Washington, D.C.? He'll have a heart attack. We will
And we
shut that
need to
city
do that.
down,
We
and
need
we
to
need
do
to
that.
do it.
We can get there. Yeah, we can get there.
And that's the whole point. That's what we're talking about. But it has to be in numbers. We have to support one another.
Yes.
And the one thing I want to say, I want to thank every single one of you for you supporting Jessica and people like Jessica, myself, and others. Because without you guys, we couldn't do it. We're out there risking not only our safety, our freedom, but also it takes a lot of time to go out there to be able to give you this information so you could be able to understand it, because there's no media giving it to you anymore. You can't trust the CNN, CNBC, or any of these places. So everybody has to do their part. A lot of people ask me, Lev, what can I do? Well, you have to do something. Don't do anything. Do whatever you can. Subscribe, support, donate, go out there, get a friend, pass the message out, get our voices heard, make our life. You could do something. It's not only about money. So don't always, people. So but don't do nothing. I'm saying to you, when you listen to this, when you listen to these messages, spread it. Go tell
Yep.
2, 3 more people. Go bring 2 more, 3 people to subscribe to Jessica's show or to my show or to other shows out there that are bringing you the facts and truth, because that's what it's all about. Right now, it's a movement, and the stronger we get, the bigger we get. That's the only way we're going to defeat them. And the only reason the Democrats lost is because not Kamala Harris. Just so you understand, people, she's never been in the room with Donald Trump until her first debate that she had with him. She has no idea who this man is. She has no idea how he breathes, how he thinks. I've spent so much time with this. And just so you understand, I worked for his father, Fred Trump, when I was 15 years old, going back to 1987, Brooklyn, New York, selling Trump co-ops. So believe me when I tell you, I know this man. And that's why it's important for her. And that's why, and Jessica knows him. She spent time. And that's why people like that, you need to listen to the facts and help us out. But, again, thank you, Jessica. Let's have some fun. Tell me what you want to talk about.
Oh my goodness, Lev. Well, you said so much there. First of all, I want to thank you too. And I have to thank our viewers. This show in particular has just, the last week, the kind of influx into Lights On and the Jessica Denson channel has been so beautiful. The response to really, that's all that I do on this show is give people tools. And my viewers know, like, if I don't have something to tell you to do, why do I even put a show up? I'm here to give you calls to action. And I'm so grateful to know you, Lev, because I got to know you as a friend and to see where your heart is. I came to the premiere, the screening of From Russia with Lev. I saw you, meet with Hunter Biden in person. I saw those tears. Those tears are the genuine manifestation of repentance and wanting to make good. And you came out when you didn't have to, when you had so much on the line, when you had so much legal liability, so you're putting your family's safety on the line, so many things. And like me, you, after this election, which, listen, on this show, we don't believe that Donald Trump actually won this election, but we could have gone into the shadows and said, I'm done. Like, what else can I do? And neither of us felt like we could do that. Neither of us felt like we could live through this moment by standing down. So I'm really grateful that you're still in this with me.
And I'm grateful to you. And I want to say something to you. When we spoke off on the phone earlier today, you asked me a question. You said, you made a big announcement a while ago on YouTube and all your channels that you had a decision to make, and it was a very personal decision. And one of those decisions is because a lot of people don't realize or understand, Jessica, I am currently still on supervised release. I'm still under the thumb of the DOJ, Trump's DOJ. And when I go out there and with my relationships that I have still, not only in Trump world, because you have to understand, not only do I mean, not that I only spend that Trump with Trump, but I know Pam Bondi, and I mean, very well. I have text messages. Ron DeSantis, I mean, Kash Patel, all of the Pete Hegseth, all of these people. I've lived in that world with them, know them, you know, and go back and forth. So it was a big decision for me to make. Do I just shut up and I just quietly go away, or do I continue telling the truth? And I decided, I spoke to my family, my lawyers, and we decided to listen. You can't just stay quiet. You can't just,
No.
because you know what, it's history will repeat itself. And I hate to compare, World War II. I hate to talk about Nazi Germany. I hate to talk about,
There's so
but
many real parallels
but
between then and now.
exactly. But dictatorship is dictatorship. And one of the things I do want to talk about is, those of you that will subscribe to my Substack, you'll see I did a special video, Jessica, which I'll send you. You need to see. A lot of people for years have been asking me this question: why does Trump do this stuff that he does with Vladimir Putin? Like, why is he? Is he a Russian puppet? Is he a KGB agent? Like, what is it about him that do they have something on him? And I decided to one day, tell the truth, the story about why Donald Trump, and I'm not going to go into, because it's a 20-minute video that everybody should watch and understand. I'll give the breakdown from
Is it
childhood of
also
Donald
on your
Trump.
Lev Remembers YouTube channel?
It's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Also
on the
subscribe. Lev's Substack is like, one of the top rated Substacks, but
We're
his
number
YouTube
4.
channel
We're
gets
actually number 4 in
more
the world right now.
attention.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
right now,
yeah.
go to Lev Remembers on YouTube and subscribe to Lev Remembers on YouTube too.
I love you, Jessica. Thank you. And thank you all. Absolutely. I mean, your support, trust me, you won't be sorry. So Donald Trump is not, and I say it there, and this is the title, is not his puppet. Donald Trump is his student, and it's even more dangerous. What Donald Trump has been doing is he's been learning how to become a dictator. And if you take a look, what he's been doing in the first 100 days of his presidency is strictly the dictatorship playbook. Destroy the Constitution, the institutions from inside. Destroy the economy. Destroy the dollar. Destroy the courts. Define the Constitution. And when you do all of these things, what happens at the end? You come out and you turn around and say, I'm the only one that could fix it. Think back. Doesn't it remind you of somebody who else keeps talking around? I'm the only one that could stop the war. I'm the only one that could fix it. Today, we already know now what I've been reporting and telling everybody for the past year, that Donald Trump is not going to stop this war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Now, we're starting to see reports. He's starting to get worried about it. We've been saying it along. So Donald Trump is trying to become a dictator. All of this he's doing is he's laying out the groundwork, because he wants to, at the end of the day, his biggest goal is to never leave office.
Of course.
And that's his number one goal. And he knows that, he can't just do it overnight. That's why he has Steve Bannon right now running around like a puppet all over TV, Bill Maher. And, I couldn't even believe Gavin Newsom gave him this. I lost all respect with that situation. That, Charlie Kirk, okay, I'll give it to you, no problem. But Steve Bannon, I mean, okay, that's a separate conversation. I'm not going to go off track of that. But, I'm saying to you, it's the groundwork. And he said it. People took it. You listened and didn't understand. And then you got this Pete Hegseth situation. I mean, we could go. Tell me where you want to go, and I'll give you some inside scoop on all of it. Russia, Ukraine, Russia.
I want to go.
I mean,
I want to
Steve
go with what's
Witkoff.
going on with the blackmail of Ukraine. And by the way, I want to get back. We're definitely at the end of the show. We're gonna zone back in on Lev and my push for impeachment with the other. You said we need to join forces. I want to tell people about all of those efforts that we've been highlighting on Lights On, and I think we definitely should do that. Plus, I have some more protest and action items at the end. But let's focus on Ukraine, because you were his henchman. You were his henchman the first time. And if you watch From Russia with Lev, if you read Shadow Diplomacy, you really get a sense of how Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, frankly, are willing to use people, human lives, as just pawns in their game to stay in power and to self-enrich. And you're seeing it play out again this week. It's so disgusting. Like that piece I read from The Guardian, for this pretense of like calling out Vladimir Putin. Give me a break. I mean, give me your insight into what's going on right now, and just how how sickening and damaging it is to both the people of Ukraine, to the United States, and the free world at large.
Well, it's so dangerous, and Jessica, I can't even tell you. But it's important. I'm going to have to take your viewers back a little bit so they understand the full story. Because what you're seeing, what's being reported today, it's old news. It's the
Yeah.
media. The media is not the same media. They're scared of Donald Trump. They're not reporting the stuff the same way, and they're reporting it with the Russian, with the kick to it. So let me explain to you what really is going on in Ukraine. All of this mineral deal, all of this conversations that you see Donald talking about. Donald Trump doesn't know Ukraine from his elbow. Donald Trump has no idea anything about Ukraine. Donald Trump, in our first conversation, when I first explained what Ukraine was in 2018 to him in our dinner, he didn't even know if Ukraine had oil or any kind of minerals. The people behind the scenes, and I'm going to give you some names, so you want to write them down. You could Google them later. You could go to my Substack, and you'll see the whole breakdown. Is Kirill Dmitriev. Kirill Dmitriev is the Russian envoy to the United States. Jared Kushner, you know who Jared Kushner is. He's Donald Trump's son-in-law. And now we have an interesting figure that has showed up and emerged that all of a sudden the media is talking about, but they're not telling you the truth, what's really going on. His name is Stephen Witkoff. Stephen Witkoff is a very close ally of Donald Trump that happened to be not named the special envoy to the Middle East. Now, remember this, folks, the Middle East, not Russia, but all of a sudden, Stephen Witkoff is flying to Russia, meeting with not only Kirill Dmitriev, the special envoy, but he's also now meeting up with Vladimir Putin. Folks, I want you to understand he met with Vladimir Putin. This right now, he's there for the fourth time in the first 100 days. There are diplomats and there are world leaders that have not met with none of them have met with Vladimir Putin in a decade 4 times, let alone within the first 100 days. So people started saying, nobody's like wondering what's going on. Why is it Steve Witkoff all of a sudden? Well, I'm going to explain to you guys. Steve Witkoff goes back to his story as he used to be Trump's real estate lawyer. And during the 90s and then 2000, Stephen Witkoff started dealing when we had the fall of Russia. All of a sudden, you had a fluctuation of a lot of Russian money, a lot of oligarchs, a lot of criminal activity flooding into the United States, into real estate. And Trump Tower became one of those places, no question asked, buy 20, 30 apartments and send me the money.
Launder Central, right? Money laundering central.
And in 2010, Stephen Witkoff actually wrote a letter for an individual by the name of Anatoly Golubchik. And I'm going to tell you who this person is. If you remember the movie Molly's Game, it was based upon in Trump Tower, there was Russian organized crime that had a poker game, had a gambling ring. So this is one of the guys, Anatoly Golubchik, that was involved in that. Steve Witkoff wrote a letter for him, and this is all information that's been buried and the media doesn't want to report to you, and basically to recommend for him to get an apartment, a $7.5 million apartment somewhere on Fifth Avenue, I think, or Madison. Don't quote me. I don't have the exact address in front of me. And then when the gentleman got indicted and for criminal Russian organized crime, Stephen Witkoff said he made a mistake and he did it on behalf of a friend. We're still looking in who that friend is. But it gets even worse then. I'm now finding out from my sources that Stephen Witkoff is very close to Len Blavatnik. Len Blavatnik is a billionaire here in the United States that was born in the Soviet Union, that went through we friends with the Kremlin, friends with all of these, Michael Vekselberg, the names that you hear that are connected to Russian oligarchs and Kremlin directly to Vladimir Putin. This is an individual worth about $20-30 billion, and he is partners with what's his name, Stephen Witkoff. It goes even further. Stephen Witkoff has connection to even other oligarchs. So what I'm saying to you, Stephen Witkoff is there not because of he's there as a messenger on behalf of Vladimir Putin. What they're trying to do is basically carve up Ukraine. all of these deals are not
Yeah.
peace deals. All of these deals are surrender deals. But the good news, folks, I'm going to tell you is because my sources inside of Zelensky's world are telling me, and I'm seeing it, and you're seeing it play out. They're telling Trump to go f himself. What Trump did is he underestimated his hands by pushing the EU and Ukraine all together, basically to stand together. Now there's no more talk. There's a lot of action going on, and to the point where I don't know if you guys know, but the EU gave 50 billion to Ukraine and Zelensky too. So Zelensky called up Trump and said, "Listen, we're no more. We don't need you to let us give us anything. We want to buy $50 billion worth of military, which would have made it the biggest deal for the United States history. Would have boosted manufacturing. So, I mean, plus. And Trump basically said no. He said no, and his response was Zelensky only wants to buy missiles instead of peace. Till this day, Trump keeps talking about that Zelensky started the war. I mean, it's incredible.
Ludicrous.
So
Yeah.
so there's so much more, I mean, behind it. I mean, we could spend 2 hours talking about, Jessica, but the bottom line, the big takeaway, that what's happening in Ukraine is, and the text and the tweet, the Truth Social, oh, excuse me, the Truth Social, where he came out and said, "Oh, Vlad, stop it." That was just for the media and the
Of
audience,
course. Of
because,
course. Of course.
because well, and response, Ukraine unfortunately got bombed even harder the next day. So it's sad to
Very
see the
sad.
way, it's sad to see not only the way what's being played out in Russia and Ukraine. And you got to keep in mind, Jessica, for all the viewers, Russia is in deep trouble. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, Russia would be, because right now with oil below $50, tinkering around the $50, their economy is to
Yeah.
nuts. They can't stop the war. That's why a lot of people don't understand, why can't Russia start peace. Russia doesn't need Donald Trump to stop the war. They could just stop the war. They could just
Right.
pull out there.
Get out of
They don't need to
Ukraine.
get out
Yeah.
of Ukraine. This is all a game, because a lot of people don't understand the true secret behind what's going on in Russia. And I know, Vladimir Putin. I know a lot of those
Mhm.
people through all the years. Is I'll give you some little also tidbits and facts for the viewers to understand. Russia has over 700,000 soldiers right now on the front line. Most of those people are either have PTSD, damaged, hurt, injured, maimed, missing limbs, and a lot of them, don't forget, he emptied out the prisons, criminals, to go send them there. So
And the
Russia doesn't
starving
want,
soldiers from North Korea,
and the
right?
starving, and to North Korea, which I
Right.
reported on. Now we're seeing North Korean missiles that they're using over there. So Russia doesn't have a system to take all these people back. You're going to have crime. You're going to have the 1990s all over, where people are going to, not only that, you have to understand that Russia has built over the past 4 years a manufacturing military war economy. Their economy
Mhm.
is based on the war, the manufacturing
Yeah.
arms, manufacturing military, manufacturing that. You stop the war, their economy, I mean, it's already, the ruble's getting destroyed. So there's a lot of reasons behind the scenes where the media won't tell you. The media won't talk to you about, explain to you why certain things are happening. So, but the good news about it is that Ukraine is not the same Ukraine it was, and they're standing strong. Zelensky's standing strong. There's a lot of counterattacks happening, and as long as Trump doesn't do something stupid, because what we're worried about is that Trump doesn't start trying to threaten Zelensky that U.S. is going to attack Ukraine all of a sudden. Because I mean,
Don't rule it
it's
out.
absurd. I mean, between J.D. Vance and, I mean, it's unheard of what's happening. If you saw Rubio run away from the talks in London because he didn't want his name all over it, I mean, just think about it. I mean, the only thing I tell you is you're watching history play out in front of your eyes that will be discussed for hundreds of years.
Yes.
Because if I told you this, if anybody told you this a year ago, years ago, or 10 years ago, you wouldn't even be able to get somebody to make a movie about it, because it's so far fetched that you couldn't imagine something like this happening in the United States in 2025. But here we are, folks, because unfortunately, a lot of people didn't want to listen, and it's not that
Yeah,
the
and
people didn't
history
want to
will be
listen.
written about
Right.
you. What you do or don't do right now, history will be written
It-
about you, my friend. So that's the power you
yeah,
have. Yeah.
and each and every one of us, because you
Yeah.
gotta understand,
That's what
again, I
I'm
say,
saying. Yeah.
not doing nothing is more worse than doing something, whatever that
Yeah.
little thing is. So everything counts.
Yeah.
And so yeah, absolutely, Jessica. So Ukraine, It's not a good situation. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. But the good thing about it is that the way Trump pushed all our allies. I mean, as bad as it is, I'm an American. I love America. America comes first to me. As much as I love Ukraine, I was born there. I was born, but America is our country, Jessica. And
Yes.
even though the commentary I'm giving and I'm telling people, it's not because I'm excited or I'm happy what was happening, because in the end of the day, America is losing its respect overseas.
Yes.
I used to travel all over the world, and I was proud to have my blue passport to walk in there, Italy, France, anywhere, and you would be treated, everybody, you really had a different, you could have, it didn't matter how much money you had, obviously, yes, depending how much money, but still, you
Yeah.
could have been a regular tourist, an American, and you had more kind of looked up to, people loved
Clout.
America,
Yeah.
clout, I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
And now I'm telling you, you just, it's dangerous. It's, forget
Yeah.
about clout. I mean, people do not, and it's not because they don't like us American people. It's because of the
The
monster
government.
that's leading, the government that's
Yeah.
leading us, that's doing this stuff to us.
Yeah, when I opened my show last week, I got some flack because I said I talked about America as the freest country in the world and not being willing to let this standard that we've carried die. And I got some flack from some of our amazing neighbors in places like Australia and Canada and other countries saying we're much more free than you are. And listen, I'm not downplaying the freedom of any other country. And my God, I know that we fall short in so many places. But like you were saying, like, this is my country. Like, I am
Yeah,
an
this,
American. I love this country. If you think for 1 second that I'm about to let this country that is mine, that I love, that our forefathers and mothers have sacrificed and died for in defense of that Constitution that is now being blatantly violated by an insurrectionist felon, die, this country that I love, that really does stand for freedom and truth and prosperity and human rights, if you think I'm going to let that die on my watch as an American, a proud American, you've got something else coming for you. So it was with that spirit that I was talking about like, there is no other United States of America.
that's
If we
right.
lose this,
Absolutely. That's right.
this is all we've got.
That's right. And you know what? At the end of the day, a great America is great for the whole world.
Of
When
course.
America is great, we have great trade, we have security, we have everybody. That's what I was saying, America. So it's not about the people, it's
Yeah.
about the leadership. And that's why even when I sit there, me and you speak about Democrats, when I say that, I want to make it clear, it's not about the voters or the people, because you guys did your job. Everybody came out, voted, did it. It's the leadership. The
I know.
Democrats, I mean, what they did in those last 3 months or last 6 months was, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
there needs to be accountability, because if you
Yes.
don't have accountability, you can't move forward.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about accountability on the Republican side. Yeah, absolutely. But you gotta preach what you talk about. There's
Yeah.
accountability, and we're
Tell
gonna
me
get to
about it.
that. And a lot of people sometimes say to me, Lev, now's not the time. Now's not the time to talk about, because remember, I've been around on both sides for many years, and Lev remembers, and Lev has the receipts and a lot of different things,
Yeah.
and they said to me, not now, because right now we need to unite, and I agree. I agree.
But
There'll
you
come a
can't
time.
unite without truth. You can't
Well,
unite without
I
truth.
agree with you, but there'll come a time, and there'll come a place, because when all the truth will be, and it might be very soon. And I think, yes, when we're not talking about, but I think right now the message has to be a unity right now, and numbers. We need to grow up the platform. We need to grow a strong platform, that when we say next time that we're going out there and we are going to protest peacefully in all 50 states, that we don't have a couple of hundred here or there, or 1,000 here, or
No,
or a
we
couple of
need millions.
states, that we want to go flood each state,
Yeah.
where it's, where we have other countries that give, like Australia, London, that's in unity and support, that
Yeah.
will come out. That's what we need to get to. So right now,
Yeah.
that's why I said, the time will come, because right now there's no need to, because yes, you're right, accountability, truth matters, but right now the elections aren't here. That
Well, what I would
don't
say
forget
is
about
I hear Lev,
there'll be
I
a
hear
time
so
when
much.
they're going to try to run for office. Believe me, I'm going to make sure that the truth comes out at that time. You know what I'm
If they
saying
have
to you?
any hope of winning, do the right thing now. That's
Yeah.
my messaging here. First of all, if you think that we're going to have a legitimate midterm under these circumstances, I think you're living in a fantasy land. I'm trying to constantly promote the action that makes sure that we actually get to have an election again in this country, which is removing this illegal administration from power. And, you know,
Well,
I hear
between me and
Lev.
you, Jessica, I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, and I don't want to interrupt you, but let's call what reality. I mean, with the Senate the way it is, we're not going to remove him. Well, but what we can do right now, in reality, what we could really, really do, because one thing I always tell, with me, I hate going down rabbit holes. I always talk about facts and is if we could flip right now 5, 6 of these congressmen in the House, we could right now stop the ludicrousy. We could start impeachment procedures. We could basically halt all of this craziness that he's doing and turn it around. Not that we will have anything that will happen that will be beneficial to our country. I'm not saying we're going to have things passed or it's going to be like,
Yeah.
but it will put a stop. That it will allow them with the midterms. It will stop him from destroying the Constitution. We will start to maybe cease accountability, because you have to understand the biggest problem that we have, and I know you know it, but is, where is the accountability? We could sit here and scream, and tomorrow each judge could write down that, hold them in contempt and say put them in prison. Who's going to do it? Pam
Yeah.
Bondi?
Right. Like
Somebody's not going to
there's no
do it.
federal law
There's a
enforcement
there
on the
there is
side of the
there's no
Constitution.
marshals. There's no
No.
marshals. There's no.
Nope.
So what I'm saying to you is, right now we have to start from. It has to be strategic, and the strategic part is we have to get our institutions involved, because if he destroys our institutions and makes the executive power the branch of the king, then he's king, and that's what
Yeah.
he's doing. The first 100 days, just think about, all he did was executive orders,
Unthinkable.
nothing from Congress.
It's
So
unthinkable.
that's
But Lev, you know, one thing that you and I know is we come from that world. Like, we were both delusionally brainwashed in MAGA at one point. Okay.
yeah.
One thing that you and I know that they do extremely well is hijack a narrative. They
Yeah,
hijack a narrative. I was literally reading
absolutely.
about some insane protest that Matt Gaetz is staging called the American Restoration Tour.
Venmo.
And if you look at the quotes they use, they say freedom, truth, and national revival. They say it's a celebration of independent thought and a stand against the growing, quote, aggression and censorship tactics of the radical left. It's a stand for free speech. I mean, this literally from an administration and a movement or a whatever right-wing radical fascism that is arresting legal immigrants on our streets, putting them in a federal detention center for exercising their free speech rights. So these people like hijack narratives like it's their job. And I think that the Democrats need to friggin' start hijacking narratives like it's their job. You say we don't have numbers in the Senate. I say we better start changing
Well, the
the
Democrats need to talk to
paradigm
us. Yes, they need to
of
come out
what's
and start.
acceptable. And that, you know, we start with the Democrats. That margin is so thin in the House right now. It would only take a handful, and you're talking about, which
That's
is
what I'm
so
saying.
amazing,
That's the
pressuring just
first.
this handful
Just
of
all we need is the
Republicans.
exactly. We
That's
like
it. That's
we
it.
and
And then
and the movement will flow. We start
yes,
with those
and then
5, 6, then
the
we could go
whole
to the Senate.
yes, then you
Exactly.
focus, you take it step by step, but you don't say we're not even going to take the first step because we don't have the numbers. Like, for God's sakes,
No,
get on the board of
no,
what's,
we got
right.
exactly.
But I just, I hear so much when I do listen to mainstream media, like every time it's like Democrats are struggling for a message. They're struggling for, okay, let me give you your message, Democrats. Your message is removing Donald Trump from power. Okay. That's your message. Like, that is what the people want. That's what's constitutionally normal right now. It's what will get you the money that you right now do not deserve, but could earn if you start taking the right action.
They
It's
could have
what
done
will
it before they left office, Jessica.
exactly.
That's where they messed up. That's where they
Exactly.
left us
They
today.
could have
Because
done it on
uh,
January 6th when the 14th Now movement demanded
before
that they reject his electors.
even before January 6th, before
Yeah.
November, they could have done it before November. They could have done a lot of
Yes.
things. They knew the
Yes.
monster they were doing, and to sit there and now everybody, there's the voices are gone. You don't see anybody anywhere. Nobody's coming out. Somebody made
Yeah.
a speech here and there. Somebody, I'm
Yeah.
saying the only people that are fighting are people like you, me, Michael Cohen is out there, others, that are out there, but That's it. It's the same people, but you don't see none of the. I don't see any of the Democrat leadership or hierarchy or powerhouses or from the past.
Yeah, I know. Like,
It's
where's
just quiet.
Obama? Where's anybody? And
Whereas,
where are these
you name
people?
anybody, just tell me,
I
give me
know.
somebody. I mean,
I
the only
know.
one you have, I mean, you got Hakeem Jeffries, the poor guy almost killed
Oh my
himself
God.
sitting there for 24 hours. And again, great gesture, I
Booker.
understand, but
Yeah.
I mean, Booker, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then where are we at? Nothing. It was a 1 hour, 1 day news article, and then we're moving
Yeah.
on. Nothing changes, nothing, because but what really will change, what will happen is what we're doing together
Yes.
as a
Yes.
united. If we
Yes.
put together and we get guys, let's just listen to me, just for a second, everybody sit back for a second, close your eyes, and just think about this for 1 second. The first, we go out there, and all of a sudden these Congress people are going to get their phones are going to light up,
Yes.
tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
They won't be able to work. Their emails will overflow, will shut down. Their message boards will light up. They won't be able to go because we will have people out there in front of their offices standing there with signs.
Yes.
These people are
I
already on
love
the
that you're
verge.
doing this, Lev. I just
They're
got to tell you, I'm
they're
so
they're
happy
all
you're doing this.
because they're already on the verge. What you
Yeah.
also my contacts on the inside are telling me that behind the
Yeah.
scenes they need this push. We do
Yeah.
this push, and it's like a tidal wave. It's like a dam
Yes.
opening up.
Yes.
Because as
Yes.
soon as you that, then the next thing, because then people
Yeah.
won't be scared to come out, because then people in
Exactly.
this, because they just like in Congress,
Courage is contagious.
we
Yep.
have the same in the Senate, and then you have the same in the FBI, you have the same in the DOJ, and then people will stand up to Pam Bondi. People
Yep.
will stand up to Cash Patel. People will stand
Yes.
up, and don't forget the other thing. There is major cracks inside of Trump world, because
Of
what he's
course.
doing with the
Always. We know
because
this so well. They hate each other. We know this
absolutely,
so well.
especially Jessica, what I'm hearing, because of the they could put on brave faces, but
Yeah.
let me put it to you this way: Elon Musk lost over $100 million. These people, I mean, 100 billion. These people are losing billions and billions, and not to count the regular people that are in his inner circle that are losing their 401ks, their retirement savings, and they gotta come in, put a smile, and say rah rah rah. Well, inside they're hearing the conversation that Trump has no idea, no plan of how to stop this mayhem. Oh, because he never expected, because he's a bully. He never expected China to come around and say, "Oh, really? You're gonna do this? Well, you know what? Screw you. You need us more than you." And you know what? Okay, yeah, he could do it to what's that island with the penguins? Yes, he could bully some penguins, and he could put tariffs on the
Greenland.
penguins. He could go after Greenland. He could,
Mm,
but China's a different beast. You know what I'm saying to you?
yeah.
So it's we need to start. I always say you have to. It's like taking a snowball. It doesn't become to make a snowman. It doesn't become big. You have to take a ball, a snowball. You gotta do it like this. Then you gotta start rolling and rolling.
Roll.
It gets bigger, 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 bigger. That's what we guys do. So our first start has to be our call to action is I implode at all of you, whoever can make it. Not you could see like Jessica will fill you in on her show. She'll give you the dates and stuff. But right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick those 6, 7, 8, 5. We're gonna figure out those
Vulnerable Republican.
the vulnerable Republicans, and
Yeah.
we're gonna do a strategical, legal, peaceful,
Relentless.
relentless, show of speak truth to power and show our voices and let them be heard. And
Yeah.
if we do that, folks, it's on. Then you're going to start seeing different things happen. Then you're going to see the shift. Then you're going to see the media. Then you're going to see all of these other people start jumping on the bandwagon. And the most important thing, people leaving the bandwagon. So listen to us. You heard it here first. It's about to start. We're working on it, but it's in numbers. So we need each and
Yeah.
every one of you. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell each and every one of you I want you to do today. After you're done listening to the show, I want each and every one of you to do me a favor and call a friend, and have that friend call a friend, and get 2-3 people to subscribe, 2-3 people to tell them about what's happening on next Thursday, and spread the message. Because if each one of you does that, the numbers are going to grow, and next Thursday it's even going to get bigger. And I promise you, you're going to start seeing results like you're never seeing, bigger and better. Because right now, It's all talk. All these talk show, all these shows, everybody's
I
talking
know.
about it. It's great, you know. I'm saying to you, but this really will make a difference. I promise you. So
Yeah.
listen to me. You heard it here first, Jessica. We're gonna do it.
I'm so excited. We're going to join forces for sure. You 100%. I am all in to amplify your action. You know, I will do that. You know, I'll come on your show and bring
Absolutely.
it all
No.
together.
We're gonna do it next week. I'm gonna have you.
Yeah.
We're gonna we all week. We're gonna be promoting it. Malcolm is doing it on his platform. Michael Cohen's doing it on his. We got Jim Acosta. We got Don Lemon. We got Livia Troy. We got Adam Kissinger. We got. I mean, the listen. I mean, everybody's gonna push it and promote because we need as many people as possible. So you know, everybody out there, you gotta do your job. You know, I'm saying to you, we do our job. We risk our, you know, freedom, life, money, whatever you want to call it, to bring you the news, because you guys know Jessica's story. You know what she's been through. You know what she goes through. I mean, and for her to still sit here and fight and keep you, put her, you know, a life and you know, freedom and whatever you want to, however you want to phrase it, on the line. I mean, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot to, you know, love your country to that much degree to be able to try to save our democracy, because right now we're at war. It doesn't, you don't have to have arms or weapons to be a war. We're at the war of disinformation. We're at a war with information. We're in a war to save our democracy, our constitution. Because you know what, folks, a lot of people, the media doesn't report about it anymore. But I don't know if you realize it, but we already had a constitutional crisis. Donald Trump already told the Constitution already basically this strike one in the Constitution. So there's already nothing that's going to stop him. He's already set a pretense, because just think about what he did with Killer Abrego Garcia. I mean,
Yeah.
he picks
He's
it. He
defying
picked up.
court orders all over the place. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
And I wanted to start off by saying, first of all, because you know, we have these debates on both sides, because you know, I don't go Democrat, Republican, Independent. I just talk facts and truth. I don't care if he's a good guy. I don't care if he killed somebody. I don't care if
No,
he's
he
a
has due
rapist.
process rights. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's not about his. It's not about him. It's about our rights. It's about,
Yeah.
because he's just a representation of us, of what we are. We could
Yeah.
talk about separately about him being a human being, and if he's good or bad, that's a separate show, different time. Right now, I don't care about that. Right
Yeah.
now, it's about your rights and my rights, because he did that to him. Right now, what I'm
Yeah.
telling you is, and people on the inside are telling me, that he's having extensive conversations and pushing Pam Bondi to go out there right now and try to figure out how to start doing that to American citizens,
American
folks.
citizens. Yes.
And he's
And he
not
already
joking.
has. It's
Yeah, and
already
he's not joking.
documented.
He's already, exactly. He's not joking. He's going to do it. And then once he does that, and after he does that, what's going to stop him when it comes time for election time? And he says, you know what? Screw the 14th, 22nd Amendment or whatever else amendment. I'm not going anywhere. We're not going to have elections. Now what? Just
Yeah.
think about it. He's putting all his even the generals are, he's throwing out right now. You got Hexac going in, throwing out all the generals and putting all loyalists in. He's throwing out 4-star generals and putting him with 3-star generals because of the loyalty. I mean, things that you couldn't even imagine. So that's why it's so important not to wait. We don't have 2 years till the midterms.
No.
That's why Jessica's 100% right. And so all of these things we're doing, great. We don't stop them. You know, the marches, the protests, all of this, the rallies, those are all great. But we also have to get strategic. And now we're getting there. This is the strategic part, folks. And this is the important part. And this is where it's important today. I need you, Jessica needs you. Go spread this news. Call a friend, tell them this is what we're doing. This is the game plan. We're waiting. Jessica's going to tell us. Lev's going to tell us by Thursday. We're going to get a list of names between them, and we're going to figure out how we're going to do it. We're going to put a game plan, phone numbers of their offices and everything, emails and everything. And we're going to put a coordinated effort to make our voices heard, to let them know that they're not alone either, because some
Yeah.
of these people are scared. Some of these people are scared because
Yes. And let me just
crazy
talk
out
about
there.
that for a minute. Like,
Right,
you and
yeah.
I, Lev, know, and having been on the inside of the GOP MAGA side, like, you and I know how miserable the lives of these people are. They live in fear. They are miserable.
Yep.
They are scared. Yeah, they might have money. Yeah, they might have a parking spot at Capitol Hill. Can't buy happiness. Can't buy your soul. Like, these people are miserable. Lisa Murkowski was just one vocal example last week, saying she lives in fear of retaliation of that entire caucus. Like, can you imagine the freedom and happiness that these people would begin to enjoy in their lives? Not to mention, like, global hero status if they came to the right side and defended our country against this man.
Between me and you, Jessica, I'm hearing from my sources on the inside. It's not even
Yeah.
about they just want normality. People are so
Just
like
basics.
the
Yeah,
least.
not even heroism, just
It's not there's
normalcy.
just normality because because people are scared because we talk, we report, but we sometimes if you sit back at the damage he's causing, it
Yeah.
really is going to take some time to recoup. I mean, what he's doing
Yes.
or with
Yes.
the
So
international, with
much
our
more
allies.
time than it's taking him to cause it. It's going to take
And
so
that's
much more time
well,
to.
just think about it. It took us 50, 60 years to build these alliances after World War
Yeah.
II, and he's destroying them literally overnight.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
know what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
So again, it's incredible to see what we're through. But
Yeah.
again, we can't stop him. we, we,
Yes, we
we,
can.
we
Yes, we can. Well, I was going to wait till you leave, but I'm going to do it while you're here, Lev, because I think it
Right.
really plugs into your efforts. And there's two movements specifically. Listen, I've been plugged in. 14th Now was plugged in with 5051 on 314. It was great to have their support from the DC chapter. I have seen on the back end that their messaging is removal oriented. Somehow it doesn't seem to get manifested in the actual protests. And I've shared, like, I'll be really transparent. I've shared that with them privately. I'm like, guys, you need to message removal. And I spoke to Gabe with Citizens Impeachment. I don't have the logo here, but I did a show on Monday. Go check it out on the Jessica Denson YouTube channel, citizensimpeachment.com. This link, as well as Lev's link, all the links are in the description. Citizensimpeachment.com is working on tracking which members are for impeachment and which ones are not. So I'm really excited to tie in, Gabe,
Awesome.
with your efforts.
Yes, that's great.
Massive citizen-led impeachment pressure campaign to put lawmakers on the record on both sides of the aisle, all 400 and some of them in the House. Then also there is a movement on May 1st called the May Day movement. Now you may have heard a few different versions of May Day. There's May Day as in two words. It's a separate event at Freedom Plaza, I believe, on May 1st. This is maydaymovementusa.org, maydaymovementusa.org. I have their flyer up on the screen and their link in the description. They are starting on May 1st on the National Mall between 7th and 9th Streets Northwest, just west of where we had our Now DC Veterans March on the National Mall. And their intention is to stay there, to stay on the National Mall with a presence until Donald Trump is impeached, convicted, and removed. MaydayUSAMovement.org. Definitely, if you can, especially, I mean, I'd love to see this be sustained, but I'd also really love to see them have a really strong launch on May 1st. And I know May 4th will also be a really big day in Washington, D.C. So if you can, get yourself to Washington, D.C. for this peaceful protest on May 1st on the National Mall. I'm also in touch with the organizers of the May Day movement. We may have some live streaming of some of their events here on Lights On. We're working that out over the next few days. But I think, and also with the May Day movement, part of that is to have a kind of base camp for lobbying to Congress, because they're so close, to actually have people have a check-in and have volunteers literally physically escort people to Congress, like we did in the 14th Now movement back in January in those halls of Congress. This is the people's house. You can go there, make your presence known. This is, I think, an incredible opportunity to merge our efforts and
Absolutely.
really ramp
Absolutely.
up this pressure.
I mean, that's what I'm saying to you. Like some of this, it's okay to do them separately,
Yeah.
but we need to plan some big ones where we all
Yeah.
join forces and we all combine and we come out and we come in and come out in numbers. But before we do that, the first things first, the first thing we're gonna do is we need to start flipping some of these congressmen and senators, because once we get them to start putting these things together, then the second part is we bring in the massive powers and voices and movements and protests, and then collectively we're going to start things. You're going to see things happening, and then things will start making it happen. But we have to start somewhere, and again, it starts with every single one of you, because it's without you guys we can't do it. We don't have the Elon Musks, we don't have the mega machines, we don't have these propaganda machines funding us, billionaires, to go do this. We do this because of all of you guys out there that support us, each and every one you can. The guys that you could do become paid subscribers, God bless you. We need it. The guys that you just subscribe or just pass the word, or we send a message or tell a friend, it's also important. But don't do nothing. do something. Everybody could find everybody could find their part in this movement, because we're right now, this is not about making our taxes cheaper. It's not about even women's rights or men's rights or LBGQ. It's not about any of that. It's about saving our democracy.
Well,
It's about
every
all
one
of
of
it.
them,
That's
everyone,
what I'm
this is
saying.
what I
It's about all
sincerely
of them. It's
like
about all of them.
every one of them will
All
be
of them is
resolved and has a chance
exactly,
of thriving if
exactly.
we take care of this threshold issue, which
Correct,
is this illegal
correct,
administration.
correct.
So, Lev, so happy to have you here with
Thanks
me.
for
As
having
a
me, Jessica.
reminder, I have my beautiful signed copy of Shadow Diplomacy from Lev and Svetlana, his beautiful wife, when we met together. But if you haven't checked it out already, go get yourself a copy, order it. Shadow Diplomacy, Lev Parnas' wild ride from Brooklyn to Donald Trump's inner circle. Subscribe. I told Lev, I said, after the show, we're going to get you like a good amount of new subscribers on YouTube. So go subscribe to Lev
Let's
Parnas.
go,
Lev
guys,
remembers.
because let's do it. I'll give you. You won't be sorry. I'll give you the content like you're gonna really enjoy. And Jessica's right, and that's why we support each other, because there's very few people like Jessica, myself, like I said, out there. There's a lot of pundits. There's a lot of opinions, but not very few people that really know Donald Trump. And those are the important voices you need to listen to, subscribe to, because the only way you will ever be able to defeat him and say is know him. That's why the Democrats lost. All of these people, even Joe Biden hasn't never met Donald Trump. I mean, Kamala Harris. I mean, none of these people have sat in a room, talked to him, understood, broke bread with him. We have, so we know it, and we're risking everything to bring it to you, because we need the message passed on. So God bless you, God bless America, and God bless every one of you for doing what you do. And thank you for all of your support. Thank you, Jessica, for having me. And lights on with Jessica. Make sure you subscribe, because she brings it.
Yes, like Lev's, like I just discovered today, Lev says on his show too, Lights On is not a show, it is a movement. This is a movement. So join the movement, subscribe. It is only possible with your participation. And you, like, message from me and Lev today, like, know your power. You're doing something is you're acknowledging that incredible divine power that is bestowed on each one of us. Take it, seize it, recognize it. Now is the time.
Thank you, guys.
Right,
Thank you for having me. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we can enjoy the weekend and with no breaking news. Otherwise, if there is, you'll find me on Substack giving you the breakdown from the inside. So, all right, Jessica, have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Lev. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on Lights On. As always, other than subscribing, which is the best way. And by the way, thank you to all of the new subscribers, all the new members, all the influx of new viewers. It really, really touches me. It so validates my continued investment in this work and knowing that it's having a real impact. So thank you so much, as I always say, for being part of this movement with me. There's a few ways that you can support this show, other than subscribing. If you want, you can go to thejessicadenson.com. And I try not to wear hoodies on my show, but I wear this hoodie literally all the time. It's the standout Lights On hoodie that I made recently. I also have the Lights On hat and merchandise, cup, standout, of course, the motto for this show. So you can get that all at thejessicadenson.com. You can support my work, my legal fight, which is ongoing till this day, at thejessicadenson.com/donate. As always, my friends, have a wonderful weekend. Check out, please, the links in the description for all of those ways that you can get involved. The May Day movement, impeachtrumpagain.org, petition the citizens impeachment pressure campaign on lawmakers. Please do all of those things. You have incredible power right now. You just have to acknowledge it. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you. Have a wonderful weekend, and let your light shine.